Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Scenes of the Ratty Productions. Today we'll be looking at some of the sets and costumes used in the show. I hope that you'll see today how simple a lot of these costumes and props are, but how effectively they can be used. Let's start over here. This flag is probably one of the props that was most used in the Uprising. You see it quite a lot in the program. This flag is simply made out of felt, a bit of cloth and a barbecue stick. The main thing about this is the symbol in the middle, which was created solely for the purpose of the Uprising. It's got Damien's motto around the edge,
Vigilantes Imperium Progravo,
which means watch, control, oppress, and right in the middle it's got an eye, which sort of shows that Damien is always watching. This symbol kind of goes throughout the entire series and is in some of the other props we'll see later. Now, you might be thinking, why have I got two halves of a coconut here? I never saw no coconuts in the Uprising. Well, you'd be right, there weren't any coconuts in the actual program, but these little beauties are one of the most used props in terms of sound effects. It's one of the older tricks in the book, but I love them so much, we're going to show it anyway. Oh, you need some hoofbeat sound effects and you can't find any suitably online? Not a problem. Get two halves of a coconut and we can create walk, trot, and gallop. And that's how all the hoofbeat sound effects on the Uprising were made. Next in line, we probably have one of the most pathetic props used in the Uprising, some so-called keys. Now we had to make these out of wire, because that's the best I could do, and yeah, they look crap. So moving on. Next we have the bucket and the loudspeakers.
as such in 3 days' time.
Now these are both made of a sort of plasticine kind of stuff called Fimo, which you can mold into pretty much anything and then bake in the oven so they get hard. And pretty basic, but they work. It got a quite nice silvery coloured, so it looks sort of metallic, which is awesome. This bucket was used quite a bit. It's a bit of a wonky bucket, but it looks like a bucket, so that's alright. And it's got some wire at the top for a handle. Now the next one's kind of grim. It's a collection of tombstones which you see at the beginning of episode 3. The first one is obviously Drake's, and it's where Sky leaves a wreath of flowers. We had a bit of a personal joke with these tombstones, and you may or may not have noticed, but two of them read Tephra and Diogenes. Now, if you've watched The Stallion King, both seasons, you'll know that Tephra and Diogenes are characters that end up dying in both of the seasons. So, just a little kind of in-joke there, which you might not have even seen, but hey, moving on. Next in line we have an example of one of the Phantom's costumes. Now again we have the symbol that you see on the flag, again replicated here, and it's sort of on a black cloth, or black string. And underneath here we have just two strips of leather and a bit of wire. Phantom 2 is actually sporting his Phantom outfit, or uniform. You can see the black string goes kind of around his neck and then around his chest. And you can see his little badge, Phantom badge, which shows that he's part of Damien's sort of army, if you like. And the leather things just go around his legs with the wire holding it in place, which sort of gives him a sort of military, I suppose. It just marks him out as different from the other horses, and allows people to see that he's a Phantom and he's to be feared and you should run away. Next to the Phantom's badge is this little badge. This is Damien's one, which is very similar. Again, it's the same sort of symbol, but this one is silver and it's on like a silvery cord, which shows that I suppose he's sort of higher in rank and it's a little bit more fancy. And yeah, it just marks him out as different from ordinary Phantoms. This is Damien's cloak. Now this is probably the most complicated piece of costume It took a lot of work, a lot of sewing. It's kind of got a really nice red undercoat, or under, I don't know, whatever. It's underneath, and it's got strips coming out here to show the underside, and kind of flaps here. And I've got my glamorous assistant, as always, Matrix, to come and try it on and show you how it works. So this is Matrix, and just gotta put this cloak on him, and he just does up at the front with 2 buttons. 2 buttons, there we go. And voila, it is on. Well, I hope you've enjoyed having a little look at the props and costumes in the Uprising. Next week we'll be looking at 3 of the main sets that were used in the show. And I hope you can join me for that. It's been fun, and see you next week.